Jason's burned all the way down in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Warrants have all been signed. Approval of the meeting minutes.
We got two, right?
Yep.
April 7th and March 29th, April 7th. We'll make a motion that we approve the March 29th minutes of the meeting.
I will second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the town of Newry Selectmen meeting minutes for March 29th. All those in favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor?
I'll make a motion we accept the April 7th minutes of the meeting. I didn't see anything wrong there, but there might be.
I will second that. I didn't see anything wrong with it, did you?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the town of Newry Selectmen meeting minutes on April 7th, the emergency meeting. All those in favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor? Any adjustments to the agenda? Any announcements?
I don't know just where you want to put it, but Vern cannot make the town meeting for moderator unless we started it an hour later. Or to a different day.
Because that's his regular.
They have a regular selectmen's meeting that night.
Did Mr. Gougay maybe do that?
Check. Yeah.
We have had him before, so I would put a word out to him. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, I would rather try to see if somebody else can do it before we go changing the whole.
Moving times, that's what I thought too.
Any public comment? Brooks?
Yes, I just would like to announce that I withdrew my bid for selectmen. I just feel at this time, with the transition that's coming up, it would probably be less disruptive. So, just wanted to make that announcement. And it's been certified.
I had to go and check how we did that. You had to put it in writing, it had to be notarized. And it had to be before we printed ballots.
Pretty official for a our town.
All right, discuss and consider the bid results for the paving RFP. They were gonna be here, but now they're not.
Yeah, well, we told them they could come, so there was an option for that. We opened them yesterday at 4 o'clock. Lowest bidder is Pikes by
Kind of a lot.
27,000.
Yeah.
There is an escalation clause that if liquid asphalt goes above $670, which it already has, it'll go up.
In all of them, or?
Oh yeah, all of them.
So we don't know how much it's gonna go up.
So last year when we budgeted, I can't remember how much we budgeted, but we budgeted more than what we spent because they paved so late, liquid asphalt dropped. Luke, we have about $20,000 left over from last year, so I'm hoping that that's enough to cover you for this year.
Is that a ton or gallon, or it must be a ton?
Who did we use last year?
Pikes, we've used Pike for 6 years,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Manson was in there somewhere, but
Manzer was the first year I was here, but when he sold it to Pike.
he sold it to
Pike,
Pikes, so yeah,
yeah,
okay.
it's been with Pikes. Pikes on the pit at the end of the road.
Pikes is the closest, right?
But last year we had problems with them as far as getting it done on time, so we put a clause in there. So they have
I believe September 16th, they have to be done.
yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be done.
Or there's a penalty.
Or they pay us the penalty.
Well, we just don't have to pay them as much.
Right.
But we didn't get it settled until later than we had normally,
Right.
did we?
Typically in March or April, we put the bid out.
Because usually they do it, one of the first things they do.
Well, they were doing that when Manson was down there, because they fire up the plant that's local, so they could make sure everything was working all right, but Pike didn't do that last year.
Well, that's, the other thing is, we didn't award it until much later than
Yeah,
last
it was
year
like
too.
June before we awarded it.
So chances are if we did go with Pikes, they would maybe do it faster.
They did the previous
Previous.
years.
Every year, yeah. Last year was the only year we've had issues with it. And since I've been here.
So why did it get, what was the delay? Why didn't it go out to bid before June?
Because Dave retired 3 months before he retired.
Oh, gotcha, okay,
I had to be like, Dave, you gotta go out to bid. Oh,
gotcha,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He was usually much more on it.
COVID slowed everything down
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
COVID did slow everything down, but it just slipped through the cracks.
I would, I guess I'll make a motion that we accept Pike's bid for paving in Newry.
We haven't had any issue with your work, right? Just that last year being a little late. I haven't really heard of it.
They ended up farming some of it out to other contractors. We haven't had any problems with what was done,
Right.
that I know of, that's got anything to do with the paving part of it.
We have a transition issue at Skiway and Sunday River intersection.
Yeah.
It was pronounced enough so we did have some folks that travel Sunday River Road and have to come there, stop, and then pull out. They pointed it out to us very quickly, as soon as Pike was done. Rob and I talked about, because it was so late in the year, any repairs that were gonna be done this spring, so.
On us or them,
On that, yeah,
okay. Well, I guess that's a good thing we gave it to Pike.
I get, it's handy that they're the low bidder.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll second the motion that we accept Pikes paving.
So it's been moved and seconded that we go with Pikes for the town of Newry Sunday River Road paving from the Skiway to Monkey Brook intersection. All those in favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor?
Even the gravel prices were cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, even if we know it's gonna go up, but they go up so many anybody else, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean, there's one bid that's $100,000 more, you know, close to it. Actually, it's 100 and, more than 100.
Well, Spencer's not way off.
No,
So Spencer is the subcontractor for All States Asphalt. So they cover this area for all states as far as applying their product, so.
they're out of Turner or something
Yeah.
over that way.
All three guys came, looked at the road, you know, I met them, it was, they're all diligent before they bid, so that was nice.
That's good.
I guess next, we're going to go into executive session, or make a motion to go into executive session. MRSA, Chapter 13, Title 1, SS 405, 6A.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to enter into executive session for MRSA Chapter 13, Title 1, SS 405, 6A. All those in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
In favor.
Town clerk,
Tonight,
tonight, and I need you to do the personnel policy
tonight.
tonight.
Well, we gotta do the personnel policy first. No.
No,
It's on the end of the list here.
yeah, whatever you want to do. How do you want to do it? You tell me.
I guess our public town meeting is back in session.
Did you turn this back on?
I did not.
Seven oh eight was over, 7:10 we're back to public.
There, she's earned her plastic
Thanks.
sleeve.
Get to keep my key protector.
Not done yet.
Bingo.
Okay, we'll call a regular session of the select board meeting back in order.
Alright, what are we doing first?
So let's, do we want to announce what we've kind of decided? And then we can appoint and do the others, and then if other people don't want to be here for the budget part of it, we can do that?
It works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I can make a statement about what we discussed in executive session. We have come to an agreement that we are going to appoint more officers with different jobs so that we can get through this period until at least June 30th, which then at that time we may have to revisit some of it. So right now we're gonna go with our existing staff and not hire an interim manager or administrator. And on the applications or the procedure for hiring a new administrator, we are still want to talk to one or two more people. We feel that we still aren't quite there for what we want to do or how we want to hold it. We are leaning towards outside personnel to doing at least part of it. And then the rest of it, we will form some type of a committee and make a decision that way. I will say that we don't really need to do this because in the state of Maine, there's no nepotism law. So that would excuse Greta and I being related to, if somebody was to put in an application, it wouldn't have any bearing on
You
it.
mean Mandy?
Let's say my name's Mandy, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We knew what he's talking about.
Yeah, we did.
But
Have both times.
because it could be very possible that there could be somebody that was related that would put it in, so that was one of the things we checked on prior.
Okay. Being a small town, everybody's related to everybody, so.
And that's why there is no nepotism law in the state of Maine, because of all these small towns. There is a lot of family members, and you wouldn't have anybody to run it, do anything. So, I think that covers that, and then probably some, so. Okay, so now I'll make a motion to appoint Amy Henley as municipal clerk and register of voter for the term of office is to expire on June 30th, 2023.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we appoint Amy Henley as municipal clerk and register of voter for the term of office to expire on June 30th, 2023. All those in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
In favor. We just sign it, you will.
You sign the top part, and then tomorrow I'll swear her in if she wants to. Or I can swear her in tonight. I can take one out.
We got a lot of swearing going on.
Yeah.
Now and then fly very good.
I want to apologize for taking so long, keeping everybody out in the office, but it's just so much to really wrap our heads around in here.
Necessary evil.
And we don't want to end up doing this again.
No.
The other thing, I guess, we're discussing, considering appointments, most of these other appointments that we've been made will probably not take effect until May 6th.
Right?
When, you know, one of the last jobs that Amy will do before she steps out the door is appoint everybody to whatever we would be for people to have for office.
Now Amy gets to swear you off.
Amy gets to swear it all out. Right?
She'll take pleasure.
Right now, I guess there's names out there for different jobs, but we're typing everything up so that everybody can have a chance to read it, and then hopefully we all agree, and we'll all sign it, and then we'll all know what's,
Yep,
we're
on May 6th.
we're all on the same page.
But this also allows Amy to start helping us train and direct our roles from here on out.
Right.
Yes. Good. Yeah.
She has permission to do that. Right, so we go back and we'll update with the personnel policy, establishing a full-time at 32 hour per week.
So I cut and pasted section 4 and 5 out of the employee handbook that defines employee benefits as full-time. And the underlying is new, so it says full-time employees who regularly scheduled to work a set schedule of 32 or more hours per week. That's what that means. And part-time employees who are regularly scheduled to work up to 31 hours per week. So that's what those terms mean, eligible employees for full-time and part-time. The health insurance, the only thing I changed was it said 40. Oh, I have to say at least 32. So I don't have to change that.
Crossing out to 40.
Yeah, it's spelled 32.
In both places.
Yeah. And that's all I changed.
And all this is doing is to allow them to be eligible for health or dental insurance.
At 32 hours rather than 40 hours. So I will make a motion that we accept the proposed changes to the employee handbook,
Second that.
sections 4 and 5.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the updated changes to the proposed employee handbook. All those in favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor?
Who's second then?
Okay, so now
Take.
we're gonna go to
Yeah, so
capital budget.
So I did the deep dive on the budget as of right now. So if nothing else changes, although there are a couple of things that might, so you never know. The current municipal budget has an increase of $138,148. The big ticket items are, the capital budget's up 44,500, sanitation is up 33,000. Administration, 21,000, insurance is 16, highway is 10. So that represents the vast majority of this increase. And that seems like a real lot of money. However, I went through the revenues, did far better forecasting this year than I have in years past, and I'm expecting that your revenues to be up about $117,807. So even though we got large increases in spending, we have a large influx of revenue to offset a lot of those expenses. The school passed their budget last night, and the school and county budget represents a $326,129 increase. But I am still very optimistic that the town can continue and maintain an 8 mil per thousand mill rate for the 22-23 year, because I'm expecting that the increase in property values for the town to be between $25 million and $40 million. Mostly because of Sunday River's new ski lift, which is a huge chunk of that. And then the Merrill Hill Estate top portion was valued as raw land because it didn't have infrastructure, and now that it has infrastructure and they're selling for $1.4 million, and we have them appraised right now for about $50,000. There's going to be a significant chunk of value coming from that subdivision. That's without buildings. We currently think, well, at least the HOA has told us that there are 10 building proposals being reviewed through them before they come to us as building permits. So there's a significant amount of value coming into the town of Newry this year and next year.
I already have 4 brand new houses permanent being built right now.
So I think you're all set as far as mill rate and all of that. But let's get to the nuts and bolts of it. Capital budget. I am recommending that you replace the windows. These large windows are very drafty on both sides of the building, just on these sides. And the siding on this side is very brittle, so if you start to take it off, it's probably gonna fall off, so we're gonna have to replace that. We got a bid of $14,687.62 from
MTK. It's on the
MTK.
sheet I gave you.
Yeah, I didn't bring that sheet.
Okay.
I'm proposing that you upgrade the copier. The photocopier is now 7 years old. It works fine, but it does have a few hiccups, and it doesn't provide color copying, and right now there's no place local where you can copy color and count. So we're at that point where doing town reports, doing all of those try not to do it all the time, but, you know, for those special projects, cost of that is $5,400.
You back up, would you say the windows were,
Well,
paper I got is 18,000.
oh, it's in where's your budget book?
Right here? Is it this one?
Yeah, no, it's, that we had estimated it, and then, it came in.
This was just,
That was just an estimate, we actually got, right here.
okay.
So, this right here is, let me just continue. Okay. So 14,687.62, and that will do the 4 on this side and the 4 on that side, as well as this side.
Sliding on this, just this one side, right?
Yeah. We asked Serve Pro cleaners to come in and give us a quote to wash the rugs, clean the vents in the bathroom, wash the walls down, the windows. We haven't had that done since I started, so the rugs were almost like 2 years old when I got here, so it's time to definitely do some of that. We don't have that quote yet. Sunday River Fire Station, we have a quote of $57.50. I'm sure that everyone was talking about this. We talked to Cross because the reason we need to do it is because they had their loader there, caused some damage to the brand new pavement. They said that they would pay for that. Fortunately, the Serve Pro is a little less than that, but you know, if it is in that ballpark, you guys are all set. We'll just have to move the money. Insulating the pipe going to the septic system in minor excavation, $850 estimate on that. And then the big ticket item is to set aside a sum to save for the fire department equipment, and I'm suggesting $100,000. This would be for a future truck, you know, purchase, fire apparatus, those types of things. We haven't been doing this enough lately, and I'm suggesting that you do that. However, I'm suggesting that you utilize undesignated fund balance to fund these capital reserve accounts and not go to the voters and ask them to raise and appropriate, because you have a healthy fund balance right now.
Why are we asking for so much? I mean, depending on what they do, but I mean,
Right.
there is some money in
There
there
is.
now. But so, could we say, like, take half of that and maybe, we used to do it every year, put some away, then for some, whatever reason, they got away from it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how you guys feel about it, or the guy and
What
gal.
do we got in that account now? Approximately.
I'd have to go work on
That's
it.
okay.
I don't have a good feel for it. I want to say it's a little less than 300,000, but you go buy a pumper right now, it's $1 million.
Yeah.
You go buy,
700 million,
yeah, you go buy a ladder truck, you're probably $2.4 million for a ladder truck. So I don't know, I mean, we definitely have a list of what you got and how old it is, but interest rates are rising. You don't want to go out and get a bond right now for, and hopefully you don't need anything right now, but you know, setting money aside for that specific purpose, and we're not raising it because it's already been raised and we didn't spend it, it sits there. Then, because we don't have a specific purpose for this, it's going into the account for, you know, equipment. When you need to withdraw that money, you've got to go back to town meeting and say, we'd like to utilize $600,000 to purchase a new truck or a new pumper or a new tanker or whatever engine, whatever you need. You still have to ask to utilize that money even though the money's been sitting aside. It's just earmarking the money for the purchase of a fire department equipment. totally up to you if you don't wanna do that, but that was my recommendation. And then, I'm asking, the other capital item that we have is paving Sunday River Road from Skiway intersection to Monkey Brook. And, I'm asking that you raise and appropriate that through
That's the-
taxation.
That's the one we voted on tonight, right?
Mhm.
So we're asking to raise and appropriate the money for the paving, and then we're asking to take money from the undesignated funds. That's,
And earmark it for those
and
specific.
put it into
projects.
those.
Yeah.
Because the other option would be
Raise and
raise
appropriate.
and appropriate.
But you have enough money in your undesignated fund balance to compensate for this.
So if we use the undesignated fund balance, right, and say the fire department wants to buy something, we don't have to go back and ask if it's okay if they want to buy whatever it happens to
Well,
be,
you have
because
to-
they'll
you have to
have it,
vote.
or
Have to vote on paying for it.
even though it's already in that account.
Because, so if we were to say, we knew we needed a new engine, okay? And you put in there, you know, utilization of undesignated fund balance of $100,000 for the purchase of a new fire truck engine, then you don't have to go back.
Okay, but just because
When
we're
you-
putting it in there
We're
for
putting it in there
equipment.
for a future purchase, yeah, you need to tell the
Yeah,
voters
okay.
what you're gonna spend the money on.
Okay.
Like these other things, like the windows and all of that,
Right,
like
that's-
we're earmarking that for those purchases, you don't have to go back and ask.
Okay.
But when you're just saying, we need to put this money into this reserve account for a future purchase, you need to tell them what you're spending the money on.
Just want to make sure I know what's going on.
Any other questions? So if not, I'm gonna move you to insurances.
Okay, so we've got that paving in there twice.
No,
It's up overhead paving, Sunday River Road, and then it's back.
right, because
We don't want to take that out of the reserve, right?
so, yeah, so there, it's, because it's in your book twice, and it's on this page once, I had intended that it was only gonna be highlighted in the area in which you were using it. So if you go to the capital budget line, there should be one in there, and all that's highlighted is paving. So that is what's gonna be on the trio sheet, will be $184,290.
But we already know that's a good chance that's gonna go up.
Right, but you have $20,000 from last year's that you can utilize, because that was earmarked for paving, and you can roll it over.
I just wanna make sure.
Yep. Yep. I want you to make sure too, because I am not gonna be here to answer these questions later.
She's leaving me
You
alone.
paying attention? Okay,
Okay,
I guess I'm good.
okay. So, insurances. Okay, so I have insurances increasing 15%, and this is because I budgeted for a family plan for whoever replaces me, because I don't know what liability, like, that's the right thing to do.
Right.
To be clear with you, it's the right thing to do. Because you may be exposed to that liability, and
See,
there needs to be money in there.
We was gonna have a 14% decrease.
Right.
And now we're going 15% increase. So we're almost, I'm not averaging out, but what we took away, we're putting back in. so. Plus.
And that's, it's the health insurance line, it's what's causing it.
So does this front page need to be changed?
Yeah, so we went over that front page last time, and then you asked me to go back and
Right.
revisit this, so I
Okay.
revisited it, and I put in the one that says
And that's the
15%.
15%, okay.
Yeah. So, but that is reflecting in the front overall budget review document. All of those changes are reflecting in this.
And revenue next.
Yeah, revenues. So, good news is,
Hold on, where's revenue?
great, but in front of the book, you have,
We'll label this in.
yeah, nope, look to your right, right behind that one, nope, go back. So it says you have a budget review document, and then the next page is revenue.
Trying to tell you.
Yeah,
No,
it's
the
not right,
first, no, the first one is the warrant for Mogul.
I don't know what I'm flipping.
Right.
This doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, you might all think I'm pretty stupid, but that's not what I'm looking
No,
at.
That's the warrant.
So then I turn it and you tell me no. Okay. That's what,
Yeah, that's it, I believe.
okay.
Yeah.
So what is going the right way?
That's not how I had it set up.
Well, no, I just put the warrant in the front so they know what order the book was have them, and I've labeled them.
All right.
I certainly found it here, so.
You find it, Dick?
Yeah, get it right there.
Yeah, we're
Is
gonna-
that the same as one we had, that? Did you put it on? Looks suspicious.
Hmm.
Okay. So this is what you're expecting for revenue?
Yeah, so the use of undesignated fund balance needs to kind of be removed from the whole thing, so when you look at the difference between what I have forecasted for revenues and what we had forecasted last year, excluding the use of undesignated fund balance, there's an increase in forecasted revenues of $117,878. And the majority of it is, if all 10 of those building permits come in at the new fees, I think, $18,000 is low.
I think more than that.
I think it will be more than that. But I want to go conservative so that I don't overestimate you and then you're like, what happened? Like, we didn't have enough money. So that's my thought process on that. We can have a conversation about any of these if you'd like.
So in like tree growth, how come it was 0 before? We
Because
didn't,
we didn't budget for it.
oh,
We
okay.
just,
I'm like, do we not have anything?
No,
tree
we
growth?
just
got
didn't
plenty
buy-
of
we-
trees.
whatever came in, and we just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
So one of the things the auditor asked me to do this year was do a better job of forecasting the revenues.
Okay.
Okay, I could do that, so I did. I looked at what came in and then tried to figure out if there was gonna be any kind of adjustment, if there was a change in the law, what was going
Right.
on. I will say tree growth is a tricky wicket because it's all based on what they're selling the wood for. So it changes
Right.
every year. But yeah. So shoreline zoning permits, like, we get a few of them, sometimes we don't get any, $200. Building permits, plumbing permits, obviously,
Right, it's
yeah,
gonna be a lot
it's
different
gonna be
now,
lots
yeah.
of money if this really works out that way. Dump stickers we increased. I'm projecting that you're gonna sell 100 dump stickers at $5 a piece. Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. Betty might be low, but I don't know, because Betty is the reimbursement from the state for the personal property. The only, I don't know if CMP gets Betty, but Sunday River gets Betty. So they put up that brand new lift going to Merrill Hill, and we will get a reimbursement from the state for that purchase at 50% or 50 or 60%. So it could be more than that, but conservative, just
Right.
trying to be really conservative about these
Chances
numbers.
are it won't be less than that.
Yeah, revenue sharing went up. Last year, we were projected to get 14,000. I looked at the revenue sharing projections this year, we're gonna get 22. Still not a ton of money for us, but money's money.
Some money's better than nothing.
Homestead, we got this amount last year, so I'm projecting this amount next year. Interest on taxes, I think you will end up with close to $30,000 this year on interest on taxes. So I'm suspecting it'll be close to that next year. After that, whoever's here might want to take a real hard look at this, because most of this money a lot of this money comes from those town shares, and they go away.
Right.
So, the majority of the delinquency on taxes,
Was from the taxpayers.
might want to take a hard look at it. I put an uptick in interest on income because as they increase the interest rates on mortgages, we should be seeing an increase on our return from, deposits. So, not a significant amount, it might be more. $10,000 for planning board fees. I suspect you're gonna start seeing more and more amendments to subdivisions, those types of things. That's what this is. Cemetery lots. You should look at that, because it's really inexpensive to buy a cemetery lot in this town, and I don't think they've been done in a long time, but more and more people are dying, so I suspect.
Just dying to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Franchise fees was a little higher than this last year, so I'm budgeting for it. It is kind of an in and out for us. Typically, it gets approved to be sent to What TV, but it's good to use it as an offset on the other side. Agent fees will be close to $2,500, and boat excise tax is roughly around $1,300 a year.
What is the miscellaneous? When I tell a lot more than.
When we sell all those timeshares, and it's more than what the taxes were, we've been putting it in there.
I just didn't know if we were selling stuff that I wasn't aware of.
No. There are some things that will come in and like we don't have a specific line for them, so we put it into miscellaneous.
It might be, we'll say the new copier, and you sell the old one, or something like that.
Yeah. Yep, you could do that, yep. This year we'll be exceeding this 12,000. So. That's really where we're at. I told you we were gonna be financially sound, we are. I know that the increases seem like they're significant, but, the world's changing daily.
All right, so we have to go over the town warrant, read that, make sure there's no errors or that we can pick up real quick. And you're gonna start putting in some of these figures.
Yeah, if you're comfortable with me plugging the figures from the budgets to the warrant document, the plan is that on Thursday, Joelle will send that all out to you and she will make copies for you folks next Thursday. So you will have it in advance, we can go over it. That's when you go through each article and you say, yes, we're gonna recommend, or no, Amy, cut this out, let's do this.
Did you folks receive a report from the the church committee?
Yes,
You did,
yeah.
for the recommendation to,
There was no recommendation I received from David. It was, please put this in the town report that there will be a discussion at town meeting on, I can forward you the email I got.
I know, but that wasn't the vote of the committee. The vote of the committee was to put an article in the town warrant to sell the church to a faith-based organization. We voted 3-4. That should have been, the committee should have reported that vote 6 weeks ago. I'm not sure why they're not reporting it, or reporting it the way that we voted. I'm not sure.
Well,
So,
if we didn't receive it.
I can double check, I mean, a month ago, my life was a little different than it is right now, and I wasn't here
Yeah.
for a good solid 2 weeks, but, I got an email that stated from, the chairperson that there would be a discussion at town meeting
That is,
about the church.
that is absolutely not what we voted on.
But the committee should be making a recommendation to the select board, and then the select board makes the decision to bring.
That's what it was. But,
We don't know, because if we have to look and see what the email said, I mean,
well, it's just disheartening that we came to a vote, and it was supposed to be submitted, and the chairman of the committee failed to do his duty. I mean, it's kind of disheartening. I just want that.
Well, I, before we go there, I want to make sure that I didn't miss something. Okay, like, you know,
well, yeah,
yeah.
if it's there, then we
Then
will have
we'll
to add
put
that
it
in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all on, I videotaped that meeting with the motions and everything.
As we'll revisit it and see what it says. And
So is that something that we can find out in the next meeting,
We can add it in, you know.
either add it to the, right, I mean, that's,
Yeah, so if I have missed something in my email that states they wanted a warrant article or asked the selectmen to put a warrant article on, then I will bring that to you and with the assumption, some verbiage about the article on it, and then we can add it to the warrant. That's up to the, you know, anything that goes on the warrant is your domain.
okay.
Unless they petition it to go to a vote, there's that avenue as well.
so we will look into that, Brooks.
Thank you.
So this Adcock thing,
We
this,
don't have to do that right now. It needs to be in,
we just, what,
you can vote and say yes to all those people, and then I can send it in if you want.
we don't know these people, so you're in Adcock,
Yeah.
correct? You know
I know all of them, they're
probably,
competent.
are you fine with Amy putting the both in for these people, or getting it out of here?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't even know what we're looking at.
This
Yeah,
Adcock,
Oh, yes, I do, right here. Just kidding, hold on.
I mean, I don't know those people from a hole in the ground. I mean, Amy's in Adcock, she
I
said
said, let
there.
her put the vote in on it. Need a motion on that?
As long as you have a consensus, I don't care.
Are these people that are already there,
Yeah.
most of them?
Yeah.
So they're just keeping the same slate?
No, they're moving it, their bylaws, you have to rotate different people into those positions. They can only hold those positions for 2 years so that there's a fresh set of eyes on everything that's going on in there.
But these are all people familiar with the.
Yeah. They've all been like, only one of them's new coming into the rotation. Usually you start at treasurer or secretary and then you go to.
It's like the Rotary Club.
So you learn the ropes and then you become law president.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it. All in favor?
In favor, 8:48, 7:48, 7:48.
Wow.
Looking at the 8, like, shit, it's almost 8.
Yeah, it's almost 8. Hi. Who seconded that to adjourn?
Gary.
Jerry.
Yeah, me too. Right, I'll charge those.
Miss Joelle,
Yeah.
take these with you
Are those my?
and then you can sign that.
Yeah, okay.
This one was flat. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's why we run to.
I have your
And the
official
date?
sign things over
Huh?
here.
So we didn't get the last 10 hours?
No.
We've only been here 28 and a half.
20 hours, 10 hours and 45 minutes, 12, 15, I don't know. Where's my sign things there?
Right
Yeah.
here. More notebooks, taking a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna,
Brad did.
yeah.
Mine.